Now that you've watched the video about part 5, I hope that you guys understand how to use the patterns of advanced comparative structures. Now let's continue to part 6. In this part, you guys have to create a sentence using the cues given. However, the meaning of which should be the same as the question. Let's start from number 1. For number 1, the answer has been given to you. Now look at the question. Vienna is the most delightful city I've ever visited. For number 1, you have to create a new sentence using the cue as. Based on the cue or the clue, we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, as, adjective, noun, as. If you guys take a look, the words in red means they have been used, while the words in black means they haven't been used and they have to be used in the blank. Okay, let's take a look at the answer. I've never visited. As, this is the cue. Let's put it here as. And then adjective. The adjective is delightful, taken from this word. And then noun. The noun is city. It becomes the city. I've told you guys that if you use as, the article and the have to be put before the noun. This is number 1. Let's continue to number 2. Okay, this is number 2. Take a look at the question. It's getting increasingly hard to find a cheap B&B. B&B stands for bed and breakfast. Okay, for number 2, you have to create a new sentence using and. Based on this clue, we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, comparative adjective, and comparative adjective. Okay, let's take a look at the answer. Okay, take a look. The words in red means they have been used. It's getting have been used. To find a cheap B&B have been used, but increasingly hard haven't been used, which means they have to be put in the blank. Okay, let's use the pattern. It's getting. This is the subject, it, and then this is the verb, is getting. What we need now is the comparative adjective of the adjective hard. The comparative adjective of the adjective hard is harder and another comparative adjective, harder. This is the answer of number 2. It's getting harder and harder to find a cheap B&B. Let's continue to number 3. Okay, this is number 3. Look at the question. People suffer greater homesickness the further away they travel from home. For number 3, we have to create a new sentence using the word more. Okay, take a look at the answer here, guys. The words in red means they have been used. The words in black means they haven't been used. And they have to be used in the blank. Okay, look at the clue. The clue has been given to you. The further away you travel. The further is the comparative. Based on this clue, we have to use this pattern. The comparative subject verb. The comparative subject verb. The further is the comparative. You is the subject. Travel is the verb. Let's continue with the second part of the pattern, the comparative. we have to use the, and then the clue, more, and then we have to find the adjective, the more adjective. What is the adjective which can be taken from the words in black? The adjective which can be taken is homesickness, but homesickness is a noun. It means we have to change the noun into an adjective first. The adjective of homesickness is homesick. Okay, this is the answer for number 3. The further away you travel from home, the more homesick you become. You is the subject, get is the verb. That is all. Let's continue to number 4. Okay, this is number 4. Look at the question. She described the landscape as being more surreal than picturesque. For number 4, you have to change the sentence into another sentence using the word rather. Based on the clue, we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, the first adjective, rather than the second adjective. If we take a look at the sentence, we can find 2 adjectives here. The first is surreal. The second adjective is picturesque. Okay, now let's take a look at the second question. She described the landscape as being, these words are the same. Picturesque is the same. More surreal than haven't been used, which means they have to be used in the blank using the pattern above. Okay, let's use the pattern. She described the landscape as being, use the first adjective, surreal, and then continue the pattern, rather than, and then the second adjective, picturesque. This is the answer for number 4. Let's continue to number 5. This is number 5. Look at the sentence. We decided not to stay in the hotel because it was so expensive. For number 5, we have to create a new sentence using such. Based on the clue, such, we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, such adjective, noun, as or that. We have to pick one of the 2 options. It depends on the meaning. As means like, that means as a result. Okay, let's take a look. It is taken from this one. We decided not to stay in the hotel is copied here. The words in black which haven't been used is so expensive and because. Because cannot be used here, but so expensive have to be used here. Okay, the subject is it, the verb is was. Let's continue with the pattern. It was such, and then we have to use the article, but we have to use an because the adjective here that we have to take, the adjective here is expensive. So we have to use an. It was such an expensive hotel. Because this is a result, we have to use that. This is the result for number 5. The subject is it, the verb is was, and then we use such, and then adjective, expensive, and then the noun is hotel. That is used because this is a result. This is number 5. Let's continue to number 6. Okay, this is number 6. Look at the question. The itinerary was less daunting than it looked at first. We have to use not to create a new sentence which means the same as the question. But guys, not is actually not the clue. The clue is actually as. Okay, let's take a look at the pattern which we have to use for this number. Based on this one, the clue, we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, as adjective, noun, as. Okay, take a look guys. The words in red means they have been used, while the words in black means they haven't been used and they have to be used in the blank. Okay, let's use the pattern. The subject has been taken, but the verb is missing. Okay, look at the sentence. It's in past tense, so we have to use was because it is past tense. And then look at the clue, you have to put it into negative, so we have to use not here. And then we have to use as. And then we have to use adjective. The adjective which will be taken from the question is daunting, as daunting. And then we have to use the noun. The noun here is itinerary. This has been given to you. However, the article is missing. The article is an. I've told you guys that if you want to use as, the article a and the have to be put before the noun. Okay, this is the answer for number 6. It, the subject, the verb is was not, it has to be in negative form, and then as, and then adjective, daunting, and then a noun. In this case, don't forget to put an article here before the noun. Okay, let's continue to number 7. Look at the question. The water was so cold, it was unbearable. We have to use that to create a new sentence which means the same as the question. Based on this clue, that we know that we have to use this pattern. Subject, verb, such, adjective, noun, that. Based on the clue that, we know that we have to use this pattern. Okay, let's use the pattern in the blank. Subject, verb. It has been given. It was. Let's continue with the next pattern. It was such. And then we have to put the adjective. The adjective here is cold. It was such cold. After the adjective, we have to put the noun. The noun here is water. And then after the noun, we have to put that. This is the answer for number 7. We cannot use an article before the adjective because water is uncountable. If it's countable, you have to put a, an, or the article here. This is number 7. Let's continue to number 8. Okay, this is number 8. This is the last question. Look at the question. If you ask me, I'd say the sea is green, not blue. For this number, we have to use then to create a new sentence which means the same as the question. But if we take a look at the patterns, there are 2 patterns we can use. The first is subject verb more adjective than adjective. The second is subject verb adjective rather than adjective. Both are the same. Both are used to compare two adjectives. Let's start with the first pattern. If you ask me becomes in my opinion. The subject is the see. The verb is. It's in present simple. The see is. Let's use the first pattern. The see is more. The first adjective is green. Then the second adjective, blue. This is the first answer of number 8. Let's continue with the second answer. In my opinion, the sea is first adjective, green, rather than second adjective, blue. This is the second answer of number 8. In my opinion, the sea is green rather than blue. This is the end of part 6.